people know them for their pedigree, throw in a kind of a slant, the public is bound to hold it very dearly and act upon it. But I had thought that was unfair on the litigating public because you could see how much of a belief they put into it. Look at the passion of people like the vice president of the Labour Party. I watched him, I said, oh, there. This gentleman believed absolutely in this narrative. And I think it was unfair. But it will soon be put to rest because I can tell you for free that the Supreme Court would uphold that very particular decision in respect of the FCT. So
you're speaking with a lot of certainty.
Definitely. And trust me on that.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
And let's hear what the Supreme Court will say. The other issue is that of nomination. The court said is something that, and qualification is something that is pre-election.
Nomination, sponsorship of candidates is pre-election. Qualification aspect of it, especially disqualification, is pre-election matter. And the Constitution is very clear. So you have to ventilate that at the High Court or the Federal Capital, the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, or any of the High Courts of the States of the Federation within 14 days, of the awareness that this nomination was wrongly done. But in any case, the much more serious aspect of it is the issue of who has the rights to espouse a right over it, or who has the right to make a case against the wrongful nomination or wrongful sponsorship. It has to be a member of the party, and the law is clear. It said you must have participated in the primary that produced the supposed sponsored candidate, nominated candidate, before you could have what the lawyers call locus, which is the right to challenge it. If you are a member of another party, what business do you have with what happened with XYZ party? That's their business. If they send in the wrong candidates to the electorate, they'll be damnified. It's their business. So let them rise and fall with their candidates, not you. Because you are not in any way hot. It's the people who would come to say, oh, I ought to have been nominated and sponsored because I won the primary. Those are the people who have the locus. Not even every member of the party.
Those that participated?
Yeah, those who have participated in the primary and they feel that the law, the Electoral Act, and the Constitution of the party was not adhered to, they have the right to go to court. Those are the only people that can make a case out of that. No you in another party. I think to me that was, if for anything, those are just whistles. Those are things that are of the wayside. Sometimes some of us would think that when you read it, say, okay, maybe this is a strategy. It could be some form of a distraction or red herring, so that they don't look at my case and where I'm coming from. But you could look at it the same way you find the APC challenging the nomination of Obi. It's your business. It's not your business, It's for the party to do that, not you.
Before now, the belief was that the three major grounds on which you can challenge the outcome of an election, issue of nomination and qualification, issue of substantial compliance with the Electoral Act, and issue of rigging.
It has never been. What has always been repeatedly thrown up by the successive acts is that of qualification, that whether or not the party who won, the person that won, was at the time of the election qualified, whether or not the elections were marred by non-compliance or malpractices, or whether or not the person that was declared and returned the winner is won with the majority of lawful votes cast, And those are the three regular grounds. I think in one of those rounds, there was another ground that was added, but never a time has the issue of nomination been a ground for
or qualification, as it were.
Qualification, yes, because it's a constitutional issue.
It should have been qualification.
Qualification. Qualification is a constitutional issue, but you see, there is a catch there. You know, the Electoral Act says if somebody submits its Form EC9, because that's the form in which the person declare his own qualification to say, oh, I'm qualified, I've reached what the constitutional threshold is to contest the election. It's going to be published along with the list of all the candidates within the constituency, and every person who has a reason to challenge that is given 14 days by the Constitution to challenge that. If that 14 days elapses, those 14 days elapse, then obviously the matter becomes statute barred. You can no longer bring it into the election to say, okay, since I lost out on it at the pre-election stage, I could still bring it here. No, they will say, no, you cannot have it, you can aid it.
Yeah. At least I remember the case of David Lyon and Diri, the last governorship election in Bayelsa. It was a pre-election issue that rose, and it borders on issue of qualification of the deputy governorship candidate.
Like I said, qualification is still an issue, but I minded they say if you present a forged certificate, it could be an issue for a disqualifier, you know. But let's put it within context. Now you have, the Constitution has been amended, and the Constitution specifically states that all pre-election matters must be heard within, must be commenced and within 14 days, you know, and that's a constitutional provision that overrides all other laws and all other decisions. So it is the business of the court to give effect to that. So there has been what? A shift. You know, so the new law or the new sheriff in town says you must bring a matter for that purpose within 14 days. If you don't, the matter becomes a statute bad, meaning that irrespective of the merit in it,
of the case,
you cannot.
It becomes immaterial.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on a break. When we come back, other issues.